let me welcome you to the first press briefing of the Department of Youth and Sports as we chart a way forward for the 2010 Sports Award ceremony, which will be held at the Gate on Rodney Bay on Saturday, the 19th of February. I want to recognize in our midst the Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Social Transformation, Youth and Sports, Mrs. Joanna Reynolds, Africa, the Acting Director of Youth and Sports, Mrs. Claudia Jabatis, the coordinators of this year's award ceremony, Mr. Patrick Matre, Ms. Sarah Lee Williams, and Ms. Markey. Once again, let me wish you a pleasant good morning and all the best for a successful 2011. This year, as is the norm, the Department of Youth and Sports, under the auspices of the Ministry, will be hosting the 2010 National Sports Awards. A lot of work has been going on behind the scenes. There have been a lot of meetings with the management team as we prepare for this year's activity. So without any further ado, I would now like to hand over to the Acting Director of Youth and Sports, Mrs. Jabatis.
I'd like to welcome Lucia here this morning. As Mr. Pierre mentioned, this is our first press conference for the Annual Sports Awards 2010. And as customary, this ceremony will be held on the last Saturday before Independence. That's when it is held. This year, it falls on the 19th of February. And again, it will be held under the patronage of the Governor General. The venue for the event is Gate on Rodney Bay. Just like last year, because we received so much satisfaction, we have engaged the services of Accela Marketing, Ms. Frances, in the production of this event. We look forward to working with her team to produce another good event. The categories for the awards, again, we have Junior Sportswoman, Junior Sportsman, the Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year, the Association of the Year, and we'll also be recognizing outstanding coaches and administrators, and recognition of media personnel, media houses, and sponsors. We have received some from the associations. We have received, most of them have sent in their submissions for the various categories, and we will be doing some shortlisting sometime next week, and this, as soon as it is done, it will be released to the media.
Thank you, Mr. Jabatis. It will be, last year was a tragic one, literally speaking, as far as sports and solutions is concerned. And it will be remiss of me if I did not mention here the passing of some stalwarts who have contributed immensely towards the development of sports in St. Lucia. And I make mention of Francis Tobias, who would normally be here with us, Morgan George, a pioneer in basketball and basketball youth development, and prior to Sports Awards last year, Kenneth Rigler King, whose name bears testimony to the work he has done in the development of basketball from the grassroots stage at the Gardens, and having just recently have a facility named after him. So I just want to make the members of the press aware of this, and how from the department point of view we would like to offer our condolences, though it's late, but to just recognize that the amount of work that these persons have done in the development of sports and sports journalism in St. Lucia. Having said this, as we mentioned earlier, we have a team working in preparation of the planning of this year's event, and to give us some further insight as to what has been taking place so far, I will now hand over to Mr. Patrick Matre, who is the chairperson of this committee, who will bring us up to date on the developments of the 2010 National Sports Awards ceremony. Mr. Matre.
Thank you, Mr. Pierre. As indicated by our director, she would have basically touched almost all of the areas which we have worked. Just in terms of additional information, to let you know that, as was indicated before, but just one step further, that more than half of our associations have submitted. So far, we've received nominations in total of 45, coming from a variety of associations, from athletics, boxing, basketball, cricket, darts, dominoes, football, motocross, netball, sailing, swimming, and volleyball. The other associations have indicated that they will be submitting, so by next week we might be able to give you a full list of all. But as per the policy of the ministry, that there is a specific deadline which is set, and the deadline was set as the 14th of January, by which time associations will submit the nominations. If you have not met the deadline, that means you will not be eligible for the prestigious awards as given by the ministry. So those associations who have not met the deadline will not be eligible for the prestigious awards, but the individual sports personalities will be recognized by the ministry and by extension by the government and people of Senegal. We do have an additional feature in this year's program, which we'll tell you in subsequent interviews. We will tell you exactly what that additional feature is. But we're still working on it because we don't want to jump the gun and tell you and it doesn't happen. So we're treading very cautiously.
Thank you, Mr. Batre. The committee has developed a media plan which will unfold leading up to the ceremony. However, it is adamant that the media personnel play a very pivotal role in helping to showcase the actual development leading up to the ceremony, and that's one of the reasons why we have invited you to here today. We have had a very cordial and fantastic working relationship with you, and we hoping that this will be surpassed in this ensuing year. So having said this, I will now open the floor to questions from the media as it relates to the 2010 National Sports Awards ceremony.
Mr. Pierre, in regards to the gentleman who passed away, anything being done to honor them in some way during the sports awards?
Yes, we would be doing something to recognize, not necessarily honor. Right. That's a strong word that we use, but to recognize the contributions of our fallen comrades.
You mentioned the associations you receive nominations from. I know in the past you mentioned some associations have not met the deadline and they will not be up for consideration. In the past, there have been sometimes that the ministry has not been satisfied with the associations in terms of the information and whatever they put on the form. As opposed to this year and previous years, how was that this year?
There was not a major difference in what has happened over the past years, and maybe one of the things we need to do as a ministry is to review the forms to make it more interactive, to make it more user-friendly. That is something that the associations have complained about, because one of the key issues is in terms of the filling out of the form is who fills out the form. We have recognized and we have learned in the past to send the form to the athletes, and they have little or no guidance in the filling out of the forms. Because the form is a simple form, but yet still there are certain areas that you would need some level of explanation. And the filling out the form is critical in the sense that it could make the difference between you capturing a particular title and not capturing a title. Because some key and vital information will be left out. And as one to recognize, if you have a form, you could only judge persons based on the form and the information presented. And sometimes we don't get that level of information, and you get some flack from the public indicating that this person did X, Y, and Z, but it's not on the form. So I think that's very critical, and as we go forward, as anything else, we always review and evaluate, and we're going to do so and make the form more interactive, more applicable to changing styles of associations, but also to that associations, if they need help, as we indicated. So feel free to come to the ministry so we could discuss it and to guide you through the process.
I think that appointment of Matthew made is a very significant one and a very important one, in that you only judge based on the material which is presented to you. And we want the media to be very cognizant of that aspect and maybe you could assist us in educating the society as far as that aspect is concerned.
As for the nominees for this year, is it possible that you give us an idea who are the persons, or is it a secret?
No, it's no secret. Nominees are never a secret because they are for the nation. The question is how is the timeliness of the release of the information. You see, you cannot decide on your own because you receive applications in confidence at first to release them. It's like it goes in terms of government. As far as we're concerned now, those are classified documents and they will be declassified in a week's time. So I could assure you by next week Wednesday, after we discuss the information with the associations, that we give them a chance to we will give them a chance to release their own nominations, and based on that, we will say to you by next week Wednesday, you will have a full slate of the persons who have been nominated for the prestigious awards.
Any changes being done this year to make it a little more uplifting, or any changes being made this time around? Any major changes?
No, there are not really any major changes in terms of the running of the award ceremony, because we're mindful that one of the things that you don't want is to have a ceremony that's too long. So we're looking to cap it at about 2.5 hours maximum, and because of that, you are limited in what you can do. What I could say to you, as indicated, that there may be an additional feature in terms of a recognition of our fallen comrades, and the entertainment will basically be the same in terms of a song, a dance, other pieces that we have done. So we're limited because of time.
In addition, one of the additional features this year is that the recipients of awards really into schools track and field tournament championship, which was held last year, will be given their worthy awards on that night at Sports Awards.
One other question, in terms of the organization of the event, you mentioned earlier that Accela Marketing is partnering with the ministry in terms of organizing the event. I know they came on board last year. What was the ministry's standpoint of them in terms of what they added a length to the awards, and what is the form of their collaboration with the ministry again this year?
One of the reasons that we went back to Accela Marketing is that because we were satisfied with the support that we received from them in terms of what they'll be doing with us this year. They will be again assisting in the preparation of the video scripts, and as you can see, there was a very vast difference last year where we had many other features that were added to that. In terms of the media plan, which Mr. Pierre talked about, the Accela was involved in the preparation of that media plan. Again, the backdrop and the decorations, I think that we got a lot of positive comments last year from the public that it was a difference, and I know this year that they are coming with something even grander. And in terms of the event management, I think it was due to their management of the event that we were able to complete in the allotted time. And I think the management of the event, if there's one thing that stood out last year, was the management of the event. And I know that we are going to be working with them to ensure that the event is well managed again this year.
Thank you, Madam Director, Acting Director. See, the most important thing for us is the product, and the product which is acceptable to everyone and is pleasing to everyone, and hence we will work in collaboration with the organizing committee and Accela Marketing.